Champions Cup, folks, round of 16. Technically, I am on holiday at the moment, but you better believe I still caught up on the Champions Cup as much as I could with holidays and stuff going on. So this is not the usual setup. Got no magnets. I did bring a Leinster jersey with me on holiday, yes, but yeah, we'll go through some of the results this round of 16, and yeah, you guys can let us know your thoughts on the games. The first one, Leicester and Edinburgh. I only watched the highlights of this one. It seems like they described it as intense at halftime, 3-0. They described it as a pretty intense first half, one of those ones where the scoring just doesn't come. But yeah, 3-0. Not the biggest of scorelines. From what I could see, Jasper Wiese's try was probably the highlight of the game. He just gave Jamie Ritchie a big don't argue and had a bit of footwork of a winger as well, so 10 points to 6, and then Pollard's boot extended the lead for them. So yeah, Leicester, maybe not the prettiest fashion, but they get the job done over Edinburgh, and Leinster await Leicester, which is going to be a commentator's dream in terms of the two teams having relatively similar names sounding, but yeah, Leicester get the job done. The second one, the Sharks and Munster. I did watch pretty much the majority of this game. I think I saw as much as I could, barring a few kind of interruptions from kiddies playing and whatnot. Bloody sunny day down there in Durban. Proper beautiful weather. A few injuries for the Sharks though. I haven't followed up on what the status of some of these players are, but there was a lot of guys who took knocks in the game. Hendrickse went off. Ebenezer went off. One of the other locks went off. So yeah, not ideal for them. But yeah, Jaden Hexter scored a try after Montpellier set that one up. Kerwin Bosch, sometimes he's really frustrating, and the commentators mentioned it, I missed it, but they were playing him at fullback on defence at times, because the Aussies used to do that with Quade Cooper, right? Chuck him at fullback from first phase because he ain't the best defender, but geez, at one point he took a clearance kick with no time, no space, but got a huge distance on it, and I was like, sometimes I really love watching Kerwin Bosch. I've got to appreciate a good clearance kick, what can I say? But yeah, a bit of flash from the Sharks. Kelvin Nash doing kind of similar stuff for Munster. He was looking, to break the line and whatnot, although it was Dave Kilcoyne who ended up finishing the try for Munster. Maybe a bit less flash than Kelvin Nash. But yeah, Munster will be a little bit disappointed with how many tackles they fell off, especially in that first half. It was close at half-time. It was 17-14. And then second half, you got some crazy tries. I think Mapimpi got one, Bosch got one, Werner Koch got one. He always seems angry, even when he's scoring tries and winning games. Munster got some consolation tries at the end. But yeah, ultimately, 50 points to 35 is pretty convincing for the boys from South Africa, but they will have to travel to France next to play Toulouse, which will be a tough ask indeed. Leinster, the team whose jersey I am wearing, they managed to get a win at the Aviva, which seemed to be pretty bloody well attended, over Ulster, which is, it's always cool to see the Irish rivalries, and it was real tit for tat for a while. Like Ulster penalty, they go in front, but not for long. Ryan Baird gets a try. James Hume gets a try to answer. Second half, Ulster get a yellow card under pressure and then concede a try. Jameson Gibson Park finishes one off. But then Rob Herring gets one in answer. But then by the time Andrew Porter scored his one, you could tell kind of this game's only really going one way. So yeah, Leinster, kind of unsurprisingly, getting a win basically. They are definitely hanging for another star because, yeah, it's been a wee while for them, but there you go. As I mentioned, they will be at home to Leicester in the quarterfinal. La Rochelle over Gloucester. I reckon this one would have been one of the games of the round. I only saw the highlights, but yeah, this game seemed to be just insane. Can you guys hear that car backing up? Yeah, China's noisy. Yeah, this one just seemed to be like right down to the wire. Proper, edge of your seat, thrilling stuff. And La Rochelle will be maybe a little bit disappointed because La Rochelle's supposed to be one of the big guns in the competition. And Gloucester maybe less so, less favoured. But Chris Harris got the first try to put Gloucester in front. Bulgarik got one in reply, so 10 points apiece. Lewis Rees-Zammit kind of fluffed one on defence, which let Teddy Toma go over for a try. And then the try of the week maybe goes to the lock, Freddie Clark. Goodness gracious me. You'd think he was a winger the way he scored out on the right wing. Amazing stuff. Although less amazing was Ackerman's leg injury. Man, those ones are awful when the guys just get their leg kind of buckled under and yeah, it twists all kind of horrible ways. So that's unfortunate for Ackerman. Hopefully he gets a speedy recovery. Reece Hammett kind of made up for that fluffed one earlier when he gathered a 12 trees kick for a nice try. And yeah, it was 22-26, Gloucester in front with about 3 minutes to go. But wouldn't you know it, La Rochelle, through Teddy Toma, find a way to get themselves back in front. And they win at 29-26, a heartbreak for Gloucester. La Rochelle will be hosting Saracens in their quarterfinal. Exeter, Montpellier. Now, interestingly, I watched this one. I turned it on with about 10 minutes to go, and I was like, this game's done. I'll watch the end, because I knew the Toulouse and Bulls game was coming up later in the day, with a night for me here. So I figured, yeah, I'll just catch it. And bloody hell, what a crazy finish to this game. Montpellier had a red card. Mercer had got red carded earlier in the game, and they had a 2-score deficit with 10 minutes to go. It looked like they'd scored a try, but it was a very, very, very late TMO call to chalk it off. And there was a long discussion between Andrew Brace and Joy Neville, where it felt like Bracey wanted to give it, but Neville eventually got the better of him. I think she was right, because the ball did travel forward off her hand, off I think it was Ben Lamb. But yeah, Montpellier still managed to get the try anyway, despite that one being denied. Proper game on, and then 83 minutes, Montpellier are 3 points behind. And they lose the ball, but then Exeter, who've just gathered the ball with the clock in the red, just need to kick the thing out, but they go through one phase, and they get turned over. I think it was Carbonell won a penalty at the breakdown. From that penalty, the coaching staff sent on the tee. They opt for a long shot. The players didn't want, apparently, Garbisi and some of the other guys just wanted to go for the touchline, but Garbisi, was it Garbisi or was it Carbonell? The Carbonell nailed the long-range penalty, and then he scored a try when they went to extra time. Like, Carbonell was just involved into a bit of everything. It looked like Montpellier were going to win this one, despite going extra time with the man down for the majority of the game. But Yandel, at the end, after about 19 phases, got Exeter over, and then Simmons with the conversion to even the scoreline. And based on the tries, Exeter in a draw are the team that goes through. So, man, they made hard work of it. But credit to Montpellier, they did bloody well. So, yeah, Exeter will face the Stormers in their game. Toulouse and the Bulls, like I mentioned, that game was on. I was all ready to watch this one. I was getting pretty tired, man, because as I said, I've been doing a bit of travel. I'm pretty much over the jet lag, but by the time this game started, I was starting to feel a bit weary. And this game didn't really help my weariness, to be honest. It was penalties both ways. The Bulls conceded a ton of penalties in that first half. It was 12 points to 6 in a pretty ugly first half. The highlight for me was watching Nokia kick the ball out at half time, like the big lock, with the big tree trunk leg, kicking the ball out. Toulouse in the second half, I didn't watch the second half, I went to bed. Finally got a try on the 50-minute mark, and LaBelle scored a heck of a one on 54 minutes. So Toulouse, maybe not that convincing in terms of like stylistically, but efficiency-wise, 33-9 is pretty convincing. So yeah, Toulouse will play the Sharks, which should be a heck of a game. And the last one, Saracens against the Ospreys. I've just watched highlights of that one this morning. The Ospreys opened the scoring in terms of tries. Like, the Saracens got the first penalty, but 7-3. They got another one after a Nicky Smith, of all people, line break, the big prop. But then Max Malin's put on some skills, scored a pretty, what my dad would call it, tinny, like lucky one, with the TMO awarding that he didn't lose a ball forward before half time. And then when Duncan Taylor got an intercept of a Ospreys quick lineup, that was pretty much the game. So the Ospreys in Europe seem to be fighting, but 35-20, not enough to get the job done for them. So yeah, Saracens will be away to La Rochelle. There you go, folks. Some kind of quick wrap up of the Champions Cup. As I said, I watched a decent amount, although normally I would probably watch a bit more if I were home. But yeah, you guys let us know your thoughts on the games. Sorry, I am back on the floor. This is where the channel started, on the floor of a room with a whiteboard next to me. But yeah, once we get back to May, back to kind of regular service, whiteboard magnets, if it makes that much of a difference, more stats and stuff. But anyway, hope you guys were good. Do let us know more about the matches, the stuff that I missed, because certainly I glossed over a fair bit just with how much I missed. But yeah, you guys let us know your thoughts, and talk to you guys again soon. See you later.